First, I'm going to show you how to do a front snap kick moving forwards and backwards in walking stance, and then we'll add the obverse punch later. So go into walking ready stance, load the weight onto the front leg, raising the knee of the kicking leg, and then snap the kick forward and then step forward into walking ready stance. As you step forward, make sure that the balancing foot is always pointing forward throughout the kick. And notice that you've got to bring the weight slightly over so that you're well balanced. It's like when you move in walking stance, you move in and out to get the center of mass above the balancing foot. So you do the same thing here. Then drop your body as you kick and then step forward. Avoid overextending the leg there or leaning back. Your body's upright and you snap it back and form the foot properly with the ball of the foot. So check lesson number 2 where I explain how to do the front kick properly. Now, many beginners, they fall forward after the kick, they're not quite balanced. So it's an idea to pause after the kick and then step forward. So you check if you've got good balance. But don't get in the habit of doing that because you've got to learn eventually how to keep moving forward in a fluid, smooth motion. And what you do with the arms, you keep them in a neutral position, nice and relaxed. So from here, relaxed position. Avoid tensing up, okay? The power of the kick comes from the abdomen and below, so there's no need to tension the arms. Sometimes we perform this kick in a particular blocking position that you had before, like this, but there again you don't need to tension the arms, okay? You'd only tension them if you actually had to use a block as you're kicking. So step forward, kick, step forward, kick, and then going backwards is a bit more tricky. You need the balancing foot pointing forward, so you need to pivot and make sure it points forward, which is quite tricky. So pivot, snap it forward, and then go back. Load the weight onto the back leg, pivot, and step back. So practice that as a drill going forwards and backwards. Performing an obverse punch after the kick is easy if you learn how to balance properly after the kick. So you kick and balance, and then you bring the fist of the punching hand back to your hip and then extend the opposite arm slightly and then drop as you punch, making sure you're full facing, punching to the center line and pulling sharply with the opposite arm, twisting both fists at the same time. Okay? Notice that you drop twice with this technique. You drop once for the kick and once for the punch. So practice this a few times going forward. And going backwards is very tricky. You load the weight onto the back leg, you kick, but then you need to bring the shoulder back so you can generate power in the punch. Shoulder back forward, okay, so you can jerk the shoulder forward. Okay, so kick and there, okay? But you should get it with practice. So practice that going forward and backwards as a drill. So that's how you do a front snap kick followed by an obverse punch. And very soon I'll show you how to do a front snap kick followed by an obverse and reverse punch done in fast motion. But for the next video, I'm going to show you how to combine some of the techniques you learned so far in the same stance, the walking stance. For example, a middle block followed by a punch and a low block followed by a rising block. So join me for that one and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.